Oh, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today, once again, we're going to be working on creating sketches that are symmetric and use variables. The example we're going to use today is this letter M. Uh, if you can draw this, then you can create a whole lot of different symmetric and angular and variable dimensions. These are very useful tools. To do so, we can see that there is a line going down the center, and the two halves of the shape are symmetric and equal to each other. A uniform thickness identified here. So think about design intent. This is a letter M, like you'd use for a sign of some form. So you would have a uniform stroke width, which is called thickness. So that tells us a lot about the design. Then we have even width bar, then an even width bar, an even width bar, an even width bar. So what can we know from that? That means that these two lines that I'm highlighting right now would be parallel. These two lines would be parallel. We've got a line of symmetry, and we've got some consistent thickness throughout. Let's go ahead and draw that without further ado. So again, I'm going to use the right plane as my axis of symmetry. We use the origin to get ourselves started. I'm going to take the line tool and we'll draw from the horizon line to the left of the origin, and just go across, up, make sure I'm going horizontal, now vertical. I'm above the origin, and let's see, I'm just going to escape on that line tool so I do it again. Actually, you know what, I'm going to continue drawing. So I'm going to continue drawing. Pay attention to keep things lined up with each other. All right. So far, you can see what I've created is still pretty darn movable, and things aren't quite M-shaped. So we're going to use our constraint tools to apply some rules. Like, for example, I would like this to be vertical, I'd like that to be horizontal, 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 horizontal. And I want the end points of these lines to align with each other. So these move, so the top moves up and down together, and that moves together, and let's make those endpoints line up. Well, you know what else I have? I have a symmetric constraint. So I'm going to go to my drop-down menu. If you're on a smaller window, if you're using a smaller window, let me see if I can make that a little easier for you to see. It's very likely you're working on a smaller window than I am. So your constraints will be on a drop-down menu like that. So I'm looking for the symmetric tool. To the right of the dimension tool, drop-down menu. And then I'm going to click my line of symmetry, and then I can just click the pairs of things that I would like to be symmetric. By doing this, I can save myself a lot of other steps. So now those rules, everything lines up the way we want it to, except looks like I don't have a consistent line here. If I look back to our example, you can see that there is a vertical alignment between this endpoint and this endpoint. So let's go ahead and give that a vertical alignment between that point and that point, and escape from our symmetric or from our vertical tool. And looks like this thing is behaving the way we want it to mostly, but we'll look at that. So I don't have a parallel constraint here. So we'll go ahead and grab that parallel constraint from our drop-down menu. And Now we should have our M doing what our M does. All right, now let's go ahead and apply our dimensions. The dimension is thickness. It's our variable, which we established earlier by clicking the shift to number 3. We already created a variable called thickness. We can reuse that. If I want to create a new variable, just click the new variable button and then follow the instructions. Thickness, enter. And then got the height, which is thickness times 5. So 5 star thickness. We got a width. You can see the measurement is going from the origin to the edge, so it's thickness times 2. So origin to end, 2 times thickness. And we've got a thickness measurement here, so measurement from this line to this line. And if you have that correct, notice that that is a linear dimension, it's a straight line, so it's just asking for a number. If yours asks for an angle, then you need to make this line and this line parallel. And we know that these two lines are parallel because, just like we know these two lines are parallel, because these dimensions are just numbers or numerical straight line. There's no degree symbol. If this line and this line were not parallel to each other, this line and this line were not parallel to each other, the instructions would give us an angular measurement to represent the angle between the lines, not the length between the lines. Our last measurement is the height of this midpoint, which appears to be giving me some trouble because it should be that, and it's going to tell me there's something wrong. So let's find out what's wrong. And it looks like I have a perpendicular constraint. I don't want a perpendicular constraint. So there you have it. That is how you create the M. So good luck, have fun, and as always, keep being awesome.